Okay, so the weekend just gone, we had a second lockdown announced, as I'm sure you're undoubtedly aware. And so me and my friend Nathan have decided to set ourselves a challenge for this second lockdown. And I've never done anything like this before, but we thought it'd be fun to kind of vlog the process because it is going to be humorous. So we have decided that we are going to learn how to scream and growl over this second lockdown. And to give you a bit of context as to why, we have been writing, together with our third associate, Vicky Clubb, we have been writing a musical since around this time last year, actually, perhaps a bit before. And in the first lockdown, I focused a lot on writing the songs and getting them done, finishing everything off that needed to be done. And we're now working on a pitch album. And so the style for our musical that we've got is symphonic metal. Now, neither myself nor Nathan are metal singers. And the parts that we've cast ourselves in as a kind of teenage gods who are kind of awkward and look a bit strange given my inability to grow facial hair, I thought suited the part. And I'm sure Nathan will echo that sentiment. But neither of us can really do that sort of metal, especially death metal vocal, which we've written for those parts. And so we are setting ourselves the challenge of trying to be able to get those metal vocals in by the end of this month. Nathan, I believe, has chosen to take the higher scream sound, the kind of like, yeah, that type thing. And I've chosen to go with the slightly more bassy growl. I know that on the tracks that we've laid down so far, I kind of I've given like this whisper vocal, that sort of thing, where it's not really growling at all. It's just kind of air passing through my mouth. So yeah, that's what this month is going to be, and we're going to try and document the process. So here is day one. Now, this final exercise that I've seen is coughing. I'm sure that'll go down well in the current climate. Right. I think that's probably enough for today. I've heard that you shouldn't really practice this for more than about 5 minutes a day. So it's going to be tough to try and train up my voice to do this in the next month during lockdown, but we'll see how far we get. So yeah, that was day one. So I have just finished the last exercise of today for this morning, and already I can hear a difference. It's quite exciting. So this last exercise, which involves the cough again. It's not much, but there's the beginnings of something there, and that's not actually hurting my voice.
He lied. The last one had hurt his voice.
I have just finished day 3 of my exercises, and honestly, it's going pretty well so far. I think one of the things that I'm struggling with at the moment is actually being able to sustain the sound. And so I think the next thing that I'm probably going to look at or focus on is some like breathing exercises for metal vocalists. Not bad. I've got to be honest, the last couple of days I've completely forgotten to do the exercises, but that doesn't mean I haven't learned anything at all. I've been doing a little bit of research into kind of vocal technique and growls in particular, and some of the things that I've learned have actually already helped me. Even though I haven't been practicing, it's kind of been quite revelationary for me. So the first thing that I've learned is simply the fact that the scream vocal is kind of built on top of a normal vocal. So to help with the producing of sound, it's a really good idea to do a normal vocal warm-up before doing the scream vocal warm-up. So that's something I'm going to try today. And the other thing that was the real revelation for me was actually just the breathing technique that I said I was going to look into. Because I've been taught how to breathe before as doing actor training and little bits of singing. I've never been formally trained to sing. But the little bits of help that I've had, I kind of developed the wrong idea about how to breathe. Okay, so before what I was doing, if I stand side on, you can see slightly that my shoulders are a bit slumped. And I knew that you needed to make space in kind of these regions. And I was told to kind of breathe into those areas like this, right? But the thing was that I was doing that through muscularity. I was physically pushing my belly out and my back out to kind of force air down into that space, like that. So I kind of force it outwards. And the thing about the technique that I learnt yesterday, maybe it was the day before, I can't remember, I've not practiced in a few days, was simply the fact that by adjusting my posture very slightly, then it meant that I could access more air naturally. So what the video taught me to do is kind of take this little L shape here and make it so that that points straight upwards, which looks a little bit like I'm leaning too far back. But then if I allow my arms to drop to the side and bring my head back down, by breathing like this, I found that the space comes naturally into my back and into the rib cage. That's now falling into place a lot better, so my breath support is really good. 3, 4, 5. Just purely by accident, trying to get rid of the phlegm in the back of my throat, warming up the kind of nasal cavity. Accidentally stumbled across the kind of what is it? Overtone singing. Now let's get on with doing the exercises I'm actually supposed to be doing. That's so silly. At the moment, I think I'm kind of sitting on the vocal break, which I'm not sure if that's where those false chords are, but that's certainly where the exercises are leading me to feel that placement in my voice. But it's funny because as I run out of breath, it's like my vocal folds just start closing and then it comes back into like a normal just... Something else that I saw is that actually one of the reasons why it is sitting on top of that vocal is that you can actually position your vocal cords to help it sound deeper. So I might just try that now rather than going maybe my vocal I'll try and pitch it down to like that really does that really does work. I'm being quite rigid in my throat, which I need to learn how to be more relaxed. I'm going to finish up with the cough one. See, that exercise feels to me like it's working a different part of my vocal, and I'm not sure if those two things are then going to be married together at some point. But the coughing one, that feels like it's warming up or using like the back of my throat, slightly my uvula and slightly the top of the vocal folds kind of flapping around. I wonder if it's possible to kind of combine those two sensations, those two sounds. Maybe that's how I'm supposed to growl, is using a little bit of that thing that feels a little bit like a vocal break and a little bit of the sounds like Marge Simpson's woken up and has got a really bad cold. No. See, I can feel where that goes wrong, is where I start kind of like, again, it's the muscularity. I can feel it kind of holding, and that when that happens and it's too rigid, that's when it hurts. And that's not actually hurting my voice. When I get it just right on the sweet spot, it kind of like flaps around. This is a bit gross, sorry. But like, I can feel it being quite loose, which is what I think I'm aiming for. No, I've lost it for today. But I did find it momentarily, and the other stuff's coming along quite well. So I think that's me done for today. That's the end of week 1. I'm feeling pretty confident about where I am and actually where I'm going to be in the next 3-4 weeks at the end of this lockdown. If indeed the lockdown ends when they said it was going to, which probably also won't happen. But nevertheless, that's still my target. I want to, by the end of the month, have established something vocal-wise and able to do screams, but it's going pretty well.